We can change this world. We can shift it however we want it. We can make it a better world. We can make it a more loving world. We can bring people together in brotherhood. We can bring the financial situations together. We can bring the nations together. We can bring we can create new resources and discover new resources, bring new resources together in mighty ways. We can create a technology which will know no end. We can refurbish the education system and bring it around where people will be able to get the education they need, and they'll be able to get the college they need, and they will be able to do all of the things that they need because the consciousness is going to be so raised.
Hey, it's Timothy LEIPHART again, your Connected president. There are a whole lot of people out there who are unhappy with the way this election is turning out, including me. So let's have another talk. Our national bird is the American bald eagle, and I've been imagining it flying around with only one wing. In case you slept through physics class, that doesn't work. He's going to crash. He needs to have two wings, right and left, and they need to be connected and working together. You get the picture? I don't think there's any good reason why we need to settle for the leftovers from this ugly campaign or the Frankenstein's monster that's being cobbled together by various parties right now behind the scenes to protect their interests. So, since we're suffering from such a glaring deficit of qualified candidates, I thought it would be interesting to talk about what a perfect president would look like. First, I want to say that all this anger and frustration with the establishment is a smokescreen. What it has effectively done is deflect responsibility for the dysfunction of government away from its leader. Leadership is responsible for the direction of any governing body, which is something that's been missing for quite a number of cycles. But it's a bit short-sighted to blame as corrupt the entire system that's gotten us so far in so little time. We're a very young country. So it's mostly good. I'm convinced that out of the 535 elected representatives in our Congress, a lot of them really do want to serve the people. And I believe they will rise to the level of their best leadership. So that's the problem, which is why this is the perfect time for an independent candidate who can work to pull the strong people together and expose the weak, and we can start moving. I read a piece from one of the major news outlets a couple months ago in which a congressman was complaining that he had never had a one-on-one meeting with the president. Never. That's incredible to me. In 2 terms. That's in 2 terms. This is the home team. I don't care if this guy was a Republican, a Democrat, an independent, a Martian. It doesn't matter. A winning coach works with the whole team. How will anything ever get done if the president, who was hired to preside, instead takes a side? It's unacceptable. You have 3 meals a day. Eat with a new guy every chance you get. Talk with your mouth full if you have to, but talk. See, leadership doesn't mean getting your own way. It doesn't mean bullying people or calling names. It doesn't mean remaining aloof or dividing the people against themselves or alienating ourselves from the rest of the world. But it doesn't mean avoiding conflict or making false promises either. Being a real leader means getting down in the trenches and getting dirty. It means long hours and even sweating sometimes. It means working through things until you can reach mutual agreement. And the president doesn't have to know everything or have all the answers. There are over 40 permanent standing committees and countless others, all the tools anyone would ever need. Any person who's ever built a career around building successful relationships knows that there are 3 sides to every story. There's my side, there's your side, and then there's the truth. That's not to imply that someone's lying, but just to illustrate the value of open communication, the value of different parties, different people, different cultures, and different lines of thought. It's monumentally important to hear the other side because it helps fill in the little pieces of the puzzle. The goal isn't to compromise. People don't want to feel like they're giving in or giving up, but the goal is to find a common ground. If you can find even a little postage stamp size of ideological real estate that you can agree upon, then you can start building something together. Party politics is usually a case of people digging in both heels and demanding all or nothing. And that's exactly why I've got a whole lot of nothing in government. Somehow the idea of everybody being equal has turned into everybody has to be the same. We're not. And who would want to be? Who would go into Baskin Robbins if all they served was vanilla? How about if we try something new? Maybe a little exercise in forming independent thoughts, ideas without preformed biases and without the influence of political party handlers or special interest groups or popular opinion polls. I'm a pretty conservative guy. In fact, I'd calculate I'm more conservative in a lot of areas than any 2 or 3 of you are combined. But I've taken many positions that don't seem to fit that mold because I looked at the whole picture and I'm not the only one in it. If the last several elections are truly representative of our two-party makeup, our nation is almost evenly split, which means half the U.S. doesn't think like me. But we need both halves to make a whole. It works better that way. And we, the people, really need to be we, the people. So it's not going to happen by electing politicians, multimillionaires, or celebrities. None of them have a real clue as to the daily concerns of the mainstream American citizen. You could ask any one of them, when was the last time they had to separate the recyclables, carry the trash out to the curb? Or when's the last time they decided to go to work sick because they knew they couldn't meet the ridiculous and outrageous deductible on their mandatory affordable health care plan? Or when's the last time they worried that the new government regulations that are being passed might cost them their jobs? In fact, the entire political conversation needs to be focused on you. You're the celebrity. You are the one your family looks up to for safety and support and to put food on the table. You're the one who has to get your kid off to school on time. You're the one who has to figure out how to make your money last as long as your month. And then do it again and again. You can't just print more money when things get tough. So you're the star of your show. The job of the president is not to take the spotlight, but to let you shine. This is a pretty great country, and the opportunities are endless. But since the leading candidates are totally detached from reality, the only way they can come riding in to save the day is to make you think you're a victim who needs rescuing. Or worse, by making promises that they can't keep or never will keep. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. People who have never lived in the real world will never understand how to fix real world problems. Bernie's free college isn't free because it has a million strings attached. More social programs from Hillary won't work because they leave you constantly dependent on more social programs. Vicious circle. And then there's Donald, who was born with a built-in brand name, who's always had at least 7 digits in his checkbook. That's on the left side of the decimal point. And who lives in a tower. Nothing wrong with that, I guess, if you can't pick your parents, but he's absolutely disconnected. He does all the things personally that he's saying he's going to run against. They are radicals, they are extremists, and they all seem to come from some fantasy land where actions don't have consequences. Desperately now trying to find significance or meaning near the end of their life or something. It's kind of sad, really. But where's the innovation? Where is the fresh thinking? Where's the acknowledgement that some things don't work? So we have to come at the problems from a different angle. I had a consultation with a CEO and his executive board a couple years ago. It was about production and profitability. And my bottom line conclusion was, take care of the people and the money will follow. That's always the bottom line conclusion. Big government and big business always want to do it backwards, trying to get the money first and promising to take care of the people later. It never works long term. Take care of the people and the money will follow. That's free advice. If you take nothing else from this video, take that and run with it. It works every time. How about litigation reform? We could require plaintiffs' attorneys to pay the court costs for both sides if they lose. I'll tell you what, that'll end a lot of frivolous lawsuits and immediately drive down insurance costs. That's the fix you can do right now. How about rolling out my Millionaires Club card immediately to all high school graduates so they can get on their way to a safe and very lucrative retirement right out of the gate with no meddling by the government? That's the new product I mentioned in a couple of videos ago. Healthcare reform that provides actual care for your health, including scheduled premium reductions as incentives for improving your health profile. Corporate tax rate reductions that are linked to increases in non-executive payrolls. That means immediate increases in profits, immediate increases in jobs, and immediate increases in consumer spending. Everybody wins. We have to think outside the box or we're going to stay in it. It's that simple. So the perfect president isn't a perfect person, but it is someone who's connected to reality, who can think independently and can objectively and evenly represent you. Because a president who doesn't represent isn't representative. And if you don't have representative government, this sticker becomes worthless. This really upsets my apple cart because I'm perfectly happy being anonymous and flying under the radar. But maybe it's time for a real person to take one for the team. My wife said, well, if you think you could help the country, maybe you should. There's no pressure there. So I'm offering to change it up. My name is Timothy LEIPHART. I want to be your connected president. I'll run as an independent and represent all the people. But I can't do it alone. I need your help. We need to run into a guy who knows how to get behind the curtain, pull some levers, do the mechanics that get me on the ticket. There's still a little time, but it shouldn't be that hard because this is a big country and lots of people. And there's a ton of money available from real people. You could be part of the real 1%. If 1% of the population kicked in $300, that's over $1 billion. That's what they're saying it's going to take to win this election. Wouldn't it be really cool for somebody to come swooping in from the outside like that eagle and win one? Not for a party, but for all the people. That's not happening yet, though, so don't look for a donate button. Click on my name, like the page, go to the main page, like that too, please share it with your friends. While you're there, view some of the other videos if you haven't looked at them. Share some of them too. If you're seeing this on your YouTube account or you're on another website, go to facebook.com/connectedpresident to get everything all in one place. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Okay, I just got out of the voting booth and I stood there for several minutes and looking at my choices, and I have decided I cannot do it again. I cannot pick the lesser of two evils or of three or of five. There's absolutely no choice that's reasonable. So I wrote in my own name. My name is Timothy LEIPHART, LEIPHART, spell it correctly, Timothy LEIPHART, and say it correctly. You're going to get to hear a lot more. Look forward to running, and it's not going to be running a campaign like the current candidates are running. These guys and women, you're going to see them one time during these candidate speeches and during the rallies. I'm going to run a campaign after I win. Every week, I'm going to be seeing several family members of people that are picked randomly from throughout the United States, and they're going to be flown into the White House. We're going to have dinner on Wednesday night. Have my travel people show you the monuments, the tours around the Capitol area, get to know the place that is running the world, essentially the Washington, D.C. area. On Saturday morning, I will fly you back to your home. On Saturday morning, we're going to go do a 5K with your kids. We're going to have a randomly selected 20 kids from a middle school, possibly high school, and we're going to do a 5K. It's going to be called 5K with the Prez. They're going to run 5K with me. It takes 30 minutes. Have a little discussion about economics and political science and health. And anyone who completes it with me, it should be easy. I'm old if they're young. They'll qualify for a $5,000 scholarship to a college of their choice once they graduate. Only caveat is they must take a political science class during these last couple years of high school. And to get a 3.0 or higher, they have to pass. They have to understand what they're getting. But we need better leaders. We got to start training them. They need to be healthy. They need to be intellectually brilliant. And we have a really great future ahead of us. But it's got to start now. And I'm going to be that guy that's going to help push this country forward. And we are already a great country. Don't let anybody tell you we're not great. We are awesome. Why do you think people are breaking into our country to live here? It's because we're great. We can be better, though. We can work together. And we're not going to work together with people who are divisive, who are party politicians. Donald Trump is not an outsider. He is as inside as anybody else. When you are buying people, as he has said, and making puppets out of them, you're an insider. Everybody else is insider. They're politicians. None of them are connected to the real American. I am going to be your connected president, someone who stays with his finger on the pulse the entire time, and we're going to understand what's going on, and we're going to move forward, and it's going to be actually pretty easy because anybody who lives in the real world knows how to solve problems, not make problems. Stay tuned. Timothy Leiphart, Leiphart. Talk to you soon.